Good evening. Welcome to the Man United Agenda. This is the inquest into what went wrong. We just got battered 3-0 against Sevilla in Seville. And I'm joined by Bath Time and Stuart Marshall. Good evening, Man United Agenda here. My name's OMONDI Juma. I'm joined by the wonderful Bath Time with Vaughan and Stuart. Just quickly, I want to say the day started off really well. It was really sunny, beautiful weather. Then it got really windy, and then the storm came out at the end, and it was just raining, pissing down. So it's like horrible weather today. And then all day I've been looking forward to this game and waiting to sit down. I left work early. Don't tell anyone, to get home and watch this game and take it all in. So day started well, sunny, and it ended really dark and dreary for me. But here we are, Bath Time. How was your day? Start me from the morning. How's it panned out for you?
It's all right. I'm back to running, so I put on.
Oh, brilliant!
Yeah, I got my fluorescent jacket on and went out at 5 o'clock in the morning, dreaming of being in Sevilla. I'm an absolute bargain at work, so I also left early. And then I got ready for this great game of football. I can't wait to discuss in a nuanced and well balanced way with all of the people here. So thank you for having me, you dark Jedi. Look at you, like a monk.
Stuart, I mean, look, I started my day really brightly. The sun, you're a gardener, aren't you? So you must enjoy it.
Yeah.
So how was your day today?
Yeah, good, very good. Nice bit of sun for a change on my bald head. Get a bit of colour. Yeah, same. Knocked off a little bit early. Had a couple of beers before the game. And yeah, like you said, days ended with a drastic storm, a dark cloud over our heads.
All right, let's get to. I just want to go for some comments. I want to get a feel, because usually straight after game we're emotional, we're vexed, we want to swear and cuss. Just want to get a feel what the comments are saying. So Rebel saying defense was absolute shit show. Here we go. Swearing started. Time warped me back to last week. Last season, I should say. Yeah, I thought about that. Musi, how you doing, man? Musa, sorry. So Ten Hag and players don't respect United fans. We have to change players. Welcome by the way, welcome to Man United Agenda, man. Big up, press the like button. Solo's in the house as well. Bad night in the office, most certainly. Richard's here saying straight from the off crowd was up for it. Mistakes from the start, all over the pitch. Not one player played, and free for me. De Gea is a joke, and I agree, Mr. B. I'm done with Maguire. Big up again. Welcome from Mr. B. I hope you watched the watch long. Mr. B's been clipped for some of his reactions, and I'm not surprised. I mean, he's a very passionate man. Maguire, says Richard Herbert, is the worst centre-back to play for the club ever. He's shocking. Rebel saying, does OMONDI point any finger of blame at Maguire tonight? We're going to go into that, discuss that logically. Take the emotion out of that and look at that incident. Andy saying, big up OMONDI. Hey, Stuart, a.k.a. Ten Hag. What are your thoughts on the game? We're coming into that right now. Let's talk about team selection. What do we have to work with today? Because obviously he's put out a team trying his best with what we've got. We've had a few injuries. De Gea in goal. Bath Time, the defence, he's gone with two right-backs at fullback. So Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire and Dalot. Similar to what we did against Nottingham Forest. Thoughts?
Yeah, no issue with that as a back four. What's his face? Dalot has played in Serie A at left back and internationally at left back. Did it against Forest. I looked at the team tonight. I didn't see any issues that had me raging. Like Stuart, did you feel any different?
No, not at all. Like I said, with what we've got available, there was no issues at all. The only thing I get is obviously with Rashford and Shaw. If you're fit enough to be on the bench, then you should be starting. But it swings and roundabouts, isn't it?
Let's talk about that. Do you really think so? Rashford, obviously, he's 11 days out since the Everton game, and he's done, I think it's a groin strain or something. Bath Time, you've had groin strains before. Yeah. How long have you been out for?
Well, I've got a weak groin, as lots of people will tell you, but 7 to 8 weeks is normally how long I'm out for with when my groin goes. But it's only gone twice in the last 10 years, which I know is exactly what everyone wants to hear about after this performance. I disagree somewhat with Stuart saying that people on the bench should be able to play 90 minutes. We know that Martial, who's coming back from injury, shouldn't be expected to play 90 minutes, or he's going to be injured again for a long time. Like, players are not at 100% all the time. And whilst you expect someone on the bench to be able to come on, play half an hour, 20 minutes, it's not always the case. So like, as long as they can play 45 minutes, I'm all right with like half fit players on the bench for emergencies. And
Yeah, but
tonight,
half time. Sorry, I'm
yeah,
not saying play 90 minutes. I'm saying start.
yeah,
Martial
that's
again.
what I'm saying. I disagree with is that players on the bench like shouldn't necessarily sort of start. I mean, tonight are options, right? Possibly Butland in goal, but our only real sort of first team options were Weghorst, um, Fred, and Alanga.
Yeah.
Though those are the only sort of like not
Yeah.
even seasoned, but like regular first teamers. And Sean Rashford, we got to stop the treble from City coming up against Brighton. So I've no complaints to the team that's put out. It's a team I would have put out, to be honest.
Yeah, I totally agree with you guys. I mean, there's not much to work with there. Usually we can go over team selection. Oh, you should have done this, should have done that. But I do think it's a fair team they've put out. The only thing is the fullback situation. Sorry, I wasn't sure. Was Malacia on the bench or not?
He was, yeah.
Oh, he was on the bench. Okay. So maybe then I think the only talking point was the left back situation. Sure, gives us a balance. He can get forward. But yeah, I'm not going to go too much into that. Guys, let's talk about the performance. I know all you guys wait for this. We come to Seville. Let's start with Sevilla. I wasn't impressed with them too much last week when we played them. What was the major factor? Is this thing about the stadium? They were talking about before the game. This thing about coming to the stadium, we don't know what to expect. What do you have to have as a character out there as a Man United player to sort of deal with this? What's it like, Martin? Have you ever played against an away team and been abused and have
Yeah.
have you been put off by that? How much does it affect a player? Before we go into detail,
I played when I was like at my university. I remember playing a game between two colleges that had a rivalry with about 600 people watching, and in the first 5 minutes, I managed, instead of kicking the ball, to kick my ankle and fall over, and I got whistled, booed, jeered for the entire game, and it took me about 2 minutes to deal with it, to be perfectly honest. And then after that, like any sort of big match you play, it doesn't matter if what I mean. I have played in front of about 1,000 people before, but that's because it's in Latin America and everyone brings their mum, their the next door neighbor and stuff. But you have to quiet the crowd. You
yeah,
can't give them an opportunity to sort of get up. And I've been to that stadium in Sevilla quite a lot. I've
yeah.
never seen it like that before.
Oh
Like,
wow,
that's the first sellout that they've had this season. But we've got like Casemiro, Anthony, like Maguire. We've got players that have played in huge games on huge world stages, and they should they're not like maybe Zidane Iqbal might be a bit overawed by that because he hasn't dealt with it. But
yeah.
every player on that pitch should be able to deal with and understand how to manage an away crowd.
That's a great point there, Stuart. So going into the first few minutes, after 4 minutes, I seen De Gea not under any pressure kick the ball out of play with a long kick. I felt, oh God, here we go again. I'm always watching that now. I mean, myself and Bath Time sort of done shows on this, and now I'm always sort of watching how do you bring the ball out from the back, and are they just setting traps for us? Is this a ploy by other teams? So anyway, we get to the 7th minute, and De Gea's got the ball. We're trying to play it out. We had 3 men in the 2 men in the back. We had Lindelof slightly to the left, Maguire sort of just outside the area, and Wan-Bissaka to the right of them. De Gea plays it into Maguire's feet. He actually asked for the ball, pointed to his feet, yes, set me. And De Gea played it to his feet, and Maguire probably had it in his mind to play it straight to Wan-Bissaka. And he didn't have the ability to change his mind when he realised he was under pressure. He's passed it, got blocked, and they went on and scored. Talk to me, Stuart Marshall. I mean, because this is a big talking point.
I mean, look. I've been De Gea's one of his biggest fans over the years, and I've just said to Bath Time before the show, enough's enough now. His distribution, his pull, his kicking, he saves the odd shot now and again and keeps us in the game. But his catching, his aerial ability, his distribution. He looks every time he gets the ball, he looks so nervous. I'm more nervous when Maguire gets the ball. When De Gea gets the ball, than when Harry Maguire gets the ball. And yes, it was Maguire's mistake, but I don't blame him at all for that first goal. That's 100% De Gea's fault. Why, like the old days, keepers used to get the ball, kick it long, but now all of a sudden we're all playing about with it on the 6-yard box when you've got strikers pressing. I don't get it. Just get the ball, keeper, hoof it up front like the old days. I don't get it. We've not got a good enough keeper to play these balls out. De Gea's not that keeper, and in the summer it's time to go. I've had enough. He's gone. He's gone. Sorry.
First time I heard you say that. Bath time. Do you share what Stuart's thoughts there about De Gea and the move as well? I mean,
yeah. This all right. So there's quite a lot that that happened in that move that I haven't really seen sort of like reported on Twitter or like I haven't yet to see BT Sport and all that. But before I bang on about different types of presses and things, I'd quite like to know what the comments are saying on Monday.
yeah. Let's go. So we're going to catch up with the comments. It's going to be quite a few of them here. Various different things being said here. The thing about some of the players that the bench is we couldn't even compete with an outfield bench. So the fact that they made bench was out of the fact we had no choice. Okay, that's to do with the selection. I'm going to come down now. Mr. B saying no left-footed centre back in the team is what killed us today. Phil, how you doing, Phil? He says the difference between Sevilla tonight was the crowd compared to at Old Trafford. The whole team looked wrecked, Phil. Anthony looked like the only one with a bit of zip in his legs. Yeah, it was a good point. Phil saying they were behind them in a way that they're talking about the crowd that we've not seen for a long time, as Bath time was mentioning. Scholesy said this kind of atmosphere lifted him. Tonight we looked afraid. I want to say hi to Senior Nest. Lopez says we need to have steel-like mentality when we go away from home. We crumble too easily when opposition fans are rowdy and up for it. I expect better. Seville were at our throats from the off, says Phil. Casemiro was jogging around the pitch. Ericsson's pass success rate must have been very low. That's Phil again. Richard's saying, well said, Ten Hag. We haven't heard the interview, but he's saying after the match, he got that right. So whatever he said, Richard agrees with. Rebel's saying, our only job for the rest of the season is to hobble to the end of it, to get top four, make sure the Glazers gone before the end of the window, then attack the summer window with extreme malice. Phil again saying here here we go. We're back up to date now. Bath time. You can jump on this one. The first goal, Maguire asked for the ball, but De Gea should have seen the danger and not made the pass. I'm gonna stop it there. Bath time. Let's take it on from there, please.
All right. So like there's a couple of things that was going on. The first thing that happened actually was 2 or 3 minutes before the goal, where like Aaron Wan-Bissaka, I don't know if anyone remembers this, he received the ball and did a stupid back heel. Right? Does anyone remember that? Okay.
Yeah, I remember it.
All right. So the press that was coming in from Sevilla was like, I don't want to get extremely technical, but it was an out to in press. Okay. Which is where like a press works best when it's narrow. Like when you're trying to play out from the back, you want to widen their front line of pressure as much as possible to be able to play through it. Now, when De Gea gets the ball, he's a little bit slow on the ball, and he spots Maguire getting done in an out to in press. That means two things, right? That Aaron Wan-Bissaka has to drop to make a triangle with Maguire and with De Gea, because Monday, you know this, I go absolutely mental at my fullbacks when I play as a pivot if they get ahead of me, because the angle of the pass is too difficult. Wan-Bissaka is at a position for the angle of the pass to play it back from Maguire. But most important of all is that De Gea is a professional goalkeeper that is trying to play out from the back. He should recognise it's an out-to-in press and understand that means that we have an overload on the left-hand side of the pitch. When you see the pictures again, you'll see that Delo and Sancho are completely free, roughly on the halfway line. That's where the ball should have been played, and it is shocking from De Gea. But when he makes the pass and it's a poor pass, it's it's very poor from Maguire. It's also extremely poor from Eriksen. Like Eriksen should be making a run to draw their left-sided player away from Maguire and open the pass up to be able to be played to De Gea. He doesn't know what Eriksen is doing. Maybe he hasn't scanned properly, and he should, to be honest, just hit that into Rosetta or Rojota or whatever. So I put a lot of the blame on De Gea. I put some of the blame on Maguire, but I also blame Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Eriksen for not working hard enough and not supporting their teammates. We are atrocious at playing out under pressure. Every team has been doing this to us since the World Cup, basically. Yeah, and since Brentford. And we've seen over the years, we've seen Pogba, Casemiro, McTominay, Eriksen, Fred. We've seen everyone get pinched by that out to in press, and the consistent thing is the goalkeeper, because he can't recognise when it's time to hit a switch ball to the other flank where we have an advantage, and I'm sick to death of it. But if you all want to go in on Maguire, I understand why you want to go in on Maguire, but there's far more going on in that goal than just a short flat pass to Maguire. That's my piece on it, Amanda. I'd love to hear yours.
Yeah, look, it's all fresh in my mind. I do agree with you. I think De Gea, it's been an issue all season. It's not something where it's just happened today. It's, oh, well, it's a one-off. That we covered the Brentford game, and it was a similar thing where ball was played into feet, pressing trap, Eriksen was pinched, and they went on to score. And this time, a similar situation, ball was played into feet. That for me was a mistake already. I don't think that was. You don't play like you said. You talked about these narrow pressing. There's players around him ready to pounce. So play it there, I beg you. And a lot of people talk about, especially a column on the agenda. He says about Tommy doesn't like him because he just stands there, doesn't want to receive the ball. But I don't think sometimes it's a foil. It's a trap. If you do receive the ball, there is a trap. You're likely to get pinched because these guys are quite close to you. So I do think that the decision making was poor there. Maguire. This is what I'm saying about. Sometimes you've got to be able to change your mind. I know some players are instruction players. I think Chris Smalling was that sort of player. He had it in his mind, got the ball to feet, and already he's right. I'm playing it because he's been training. I'm playing it to the right back. I'm playing it to the midfielder, and that's he can't change. Once he gets that ball, he can't change his mind. That's what he has to do. And I think similar to what Maguire was there. He said, right, this is a press. They're going to try and press me. I'm just going to play it straight away to safety to Wan-Bissaka. Once the ball came to him and that angle was blocked, he still tried to do the same thing. Sometimes you've got to have a few smarts. I saw Casemiro get the ball his back to goal, scan and turn out and get out of trouble. Good players can do that. And I think defenders these days are under more and more pressure to be able to bring the ball out confidently. And unfortunately, we failed there. But we failed all season bringing the ball out. So I agree with both of you. De Gea is an issue. It has to be. Look, if guys have supported him all season, saying in the comments, shot stopping, he's a great shot stopper. But there's more. You have to have a whole game, which means communication, bring the ball out, distribution, command of area, all these things. What communication as well. We'll come on to the next thing. There's him shooting after that him issue between the ball went played over the top. Maguire's running back. He wanted to head it back to the keeper. Thought the keeper would be on his line. But the keeper decided to come out, and luckily they played it out. Add to that, Stuart, because you've already said Maguire the game needs to be sold. Do you remember that incident straight after that?
Yeah, there was more than that incident though. OMONDI wasn't there. It was several, and I think like I keep saying, I've been defending De Gea for a long time, but the game's changed. The game's changed a lot over the years, and he's not the answer anymore. We need to look. I mean, Butland's not going to be the answer. Henderson's going to leave. Tom Heaton. We need who can we go for? There's big talk I've seen on Twitter after the game. David Raya from Brentford. But what keeper is out there by half time we can go for?
I don't know, bruv. I'm not I don't know a huge amount about goalkeeping. I know that De Gea gave up when that pass was intercepted by Maguire, though, and they rolled it in at the near post. That is something that's something that I did see. Raya. He's one thing he does, which I like, is that he has one of the highest percentages of catching the ball, which is good because that means you can maybe involve Lindelof more in the first team, as he's I don't want to sort of talk about Maguire, but Lindelof is a far better progressor of a football than Varane is. But but Lindelof and Martinez is not a good aerial back four, despite what people might say. So having Raya will let us have a bit more Lindelof, and he also takes a lot of free kicks in his own half, and one of them led to a goal against City at the Etihad. So essentially, he gives you, when you have a more modern goalkeeper, you get an extra man on the pitch, where like every team uses a back three to build up. Something that goes all the way back to Guardiola at Barcelona, and nowadays the goalkeeper is expected to be part of that back three. And it's no coincidence that Arsenal might win the league this season. City and Liverpool have won the league in the last 6 or 7 years, and they all changed their goalkeeper in order to sort of like to take advantage of this. As I say, I'm sure that like people can put in loads of comments about a goalkeeper and stuff, but the one thing I think you have to say about the keeper is that shirt hangs heavy. We've seen a lot of keepers, like Barthez was never convinced with, Bosnich, Taibi, obviously. It's, I'm sure we'll get on to Jadon Sancho tonight and maybe some others, but the shirt is heavy. And the only thing I can really say is that it's been too heavy for De Gea ever since we lost a title on goal difference to Man City.
Great points. Great point. I have to applaud there. Sorry, I was visibly going like that. But I do agree. You made some really good points there, half time, about what's wrong. Just going through like the first half, I was trying to like look at some positives. There's one Anthony cut in from the right hand side, cross from the half space, and Casemiro got himself into the box and just headed over the bar. And then one, what was like I was sighing big time at, Wan-Bissaka got himself into the box. There was a move, and he was just him and the goalkeeper in the box. Stuart, talk to me through that. I mean, anyone else maybe could have scored.
Exactly, that's what I was going to say. I wonder, it's the wrong person in the wrong place. So he still should have done better than that. He should have put his laces through it and just smashed it in the far corner. But it's all ifs and buts, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, do you remember that move, bath time, where how Wan-Bissaka got himself into the final third and suddenly he's face to face with the keeper? That was a great moment for him personally.
I mean,
how do you improve on that as a player like Wan-Bissaka, who's struggled in the final third and suddenly he's getting himself in good positions?
But like Wan-Bissaka, it reminds me a lot of a very, very old and slightly irrelevant Derby player called Paulo Wanchop, who never really looked in control of the football. Yeah. Looked like he was falling up the stairs and he was dribbling. But the thing about like the top level of European Cup competition, certainly in the Champions League and a bit less so in the Europa, is that every top team has players with the technical ability to hurt you in the final third. Yeah. Like, I'm sure Stuart can remember years ago, he used to play Valencia quite a lot, and there was this 35-year-old right back called Angola. Yeah, that guy.
Angola, yeah.
And he used to be
he
used to be able to chase down prime Ryan Giggs all the time, and he gave us so many problems. And with like Wan-Bissaka, he's a good squad player, and he's extremely useful at like shutting down pacey wide men, but he lacks a lot going forward. And as for the Casemiro chance, I threw something at the screen when I saw him there. Casemiro has got to. He can't play like this. Like, I don't know if you know. I don't know if you remember, but they went on a break straight afterwards because Casemiro vacated the centre of the pitch, and he was dreadful tonight. Like, for me,
poorest game he's had tonight. Sorry, Bath time. Poorest game he's had in a red shirt.
He's had a couple recently, but I mean, I know the focus is on De Gea and Maguire tonight, and rightly so, because those are the most cinematic and emotional things. But that midfield was consistently worse than the defence all game. I think Ten Hag's mind might have been made up tonight about the future of a lot of players on that pitch, because I'm incredibly biased and my mind is made up now.
Stuart, just to add to that, I think there's a term which I've been using now for Bath time used about players, calling them puddings, running back. And I know, and it sort of flashed in my mind today because we were up playing up top. I think we had a corner. Maguire was up there. We tried to keep the ball. We lost the ball. Okay, fair enough. But seeing three puddings running back at, I thought was 3/4 pace for them, but maybe it was full pace for them. I'm talking about Ericsson, Sabitzer, and Casemiro. I mean, Stuart, me and you could do drills faster than that.
I was going to say, it was at times tonight, it was like watching Sunday League. It was like watching a pre-season friendly. There was, I know when we win games, we're all, we're all happy and excited. But that, I know quite a lot of people who went out to Seville tonight. They spent 2-3 days out there, and it's a disgrace how a player, especially in a Man United shirt, can turn up for a big European game, Europa League or not, and just nothing there, no passion, no heart, no desire, nothing. You can't single out anyone tonight. They were all shocking. Anthony, in my opinion, is the only one who can hold his head up with a little bit of self-esteem tonight. But no one else. You can't go and blame Maguire. Yeah, you can De Gea because it was shocking tonight. But from 1 to 11, it was shocking.
I'll just go through a few comments then. Jeff, how you doing, Jeff? He said, do you think Casemiro went so far forward since Bruno wasn't there? Anyone want to touch on that?
Yeah, no. I don't. It's something that we consistently see where we split our pivots in the midfield, and they're meant to drop back and cover Casemiro as he goes forward. But Sabitzer, I know a lot of people quite like Sabitzer, and I'm happy for them. Sabitzer makes the most agricultural runs I've ever seen from a midfielder. Like, he runs in straight lines. He doesn't try and either split people or get in on blind sides or attack between the lines, and he doesn't seem to have a reverse gear. Ericsson is a good player who had a really poor game tonight, and because he is like the most diligent in the team, far too much is put on his defensive capabilities. Whilst he's not a pudding, he's like a ride-on lawnmower. He'll get you there, but almost. You might as well walk, to be honest.
As the gardener, you'll get that one, Stuart. Stuart, this one's for you. Lack of professionalism has cost us a place in semi-finals. Stupid mistakes all over the pitch. Casemiro getting a yellow, so unprofessional. Just adds, to our woes, but I don't know if you want to.
That would have been his 10th suspension this season if we went through tonight.
Yeah.
And Richard, sorry, go on, Stuart.
No, go on, you're right. Go on.
Well, Richard, just to add, I'm just going to throw in some more for you to chew on. Richard's saying here, yes, and also because Ericsson did not look fit, he hanged back. So fitness, Casemiro, yellow cards, all these. Talk to me, Stuart.
I mean, it's going to be worse now because Shaw picks up an injury when he come on, which explains how he was so bad. Worst I've ever seen. I've said this about every player tonight, but Luke Shaw was so bad when he come on. But now he's injured. Maguire's suspended Sunday against Brighton. So who's playing at the back with Lindelof on Sunday?
Including Casemiro.
I think it'll be Casemiro.
Casemiro, yeah.
I can't remember who it was, but earlier in the season we had slight injury problems, and Casemiro played centre back and McTominay played in the six. But I wonder if Ten Hag is going to have a word with Casemiro tonight because, there were a couple of occasions, because Stuart quite rightly has said that was not a Manchester United performance, but I can remember 2 occasions where there was dilly-dallying over free kicks, and then the most stupid crossfield balls played by Casemiro
They just
Ericsson.
Never got out of second gear half time.
They never got in the bloody car, mate. What that was like the Sevilla bus driving past us to the semi-final, just spraying us all and
Oh, dear. We should be laughing. People will be tuning in and say, "Why are you laughing? What kind of fans are you?" But bath time, steady on the jokes, man. Come on.
All right.
Don't look bad.
But look, for me, OMONDI, I want this, and I want this from the comments.
Yeah.
What has to change? Can we send them men out against Brighton after that performance, considering
we've got no choice.
Done 7-0?
We've got no choice, bath time.
Right, does Fred get in? Alanga?
Elanga, no. Fred's obviously not started recently for whatever reasons. Put him back in. Something's got to change for Sunday.
Instead of who?
Ooh, well, Bruno's back Sunday, isn't he? So
Yeah.
So maybe Fred's not going to start Sunday. I don't know. I'm not Eric Ten Hag, unfortunately, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but you got access to your own opinion. Like, who are you taking out?
Who am I taking out Sunday?
Yeah.
You can't really take anyone out because we're down to the bare bones.
Yeah, but you said Bruno's coming back in, so someone's coming out for Bruno.
Bruno will start Sunday. I think take Eriksen out, leave Eriksen on the bench.
Okay.
Casemiro's obviously going to start. Bruno's going to start.
Well, Casemiro might be the centre back.
Yeah, well, it might be. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows?
All right, let's go to the second half. Obviously, at half-time, the manager's probably given his best team talk he could. And I think the team talk would have been more about courage and standing up and winning your battles and that kind of thing. That's what I would have told these guys. So anyway, Shaw's come on, Rashford's come on for Sancho. We go on to player ratings. We'll talk about Sancho in a bit because I know you want to touch on that by half time. But yeah, they scored in the first couple of minutes, Stuart, from a corner. I mean, talk us through that.
I missed it. I was in the toilet.
All right. Well, I will then. It was an outswinging corner, early 46th minute, and it was zonal marking, but the guy got like 2-yard run on Casemiro, leaped early, and it came off his shoulder, and it looped over De Gea. And I was, oh my God, and I'm thinking, De Gea, surely you're like a yard off your line and you can't reach that or tip that over or something like that. I don't know. I'll have to see it again, but that was my first thought about it. First of all, you've got to win your first header. And this is the problem with zonal marking. Someone can get a little run on you. And even if they're jumping and jumping early or can't really get a good connection on it, they're getting there first. You can't jump, like do a standing jump and beat that. It's very rare. You have to be like a basketball player or someone like Spud Webb to have that sort of like vertical jump. It's impossible. But then there's so many systems and ways to defend corners. They got the first header. They wanted it. First and second balls, they were winning. That was another example. And again, there could be criticism aimed towards our goalkeeper for letting it loop over him. A bit like, remind me of Shilton with 1990 semi-final against Germany with Paul Parker, that deflected shot where he's on the touchline, he's on his goal line, and it's still kind of locked him. Bath time, what do you think about that with corners? We've been through this before, haven't we, with corners?
Yeah, a bit like Stuart. I missed all the replays and stuff because, like, if you've seen that film Platoon, where the guy is just on his hands and knees screaming, that's what I was doing because I mean, De Gea. The one thing you say about De Gea is because he never leaves his goal line. It's very rare to see him get chipped, but he got chipped. So because I didn't watch the replays, I didn't see who the blockers were. And I suspect that someone getting a run on Casemiro like that is the result. I'm just going to speculate that once again it's probably Eriksen getting pulled out of position, as we've seen that all season on corners, that teams target Eriksen in that block. But I think it just sort of sums it up that we didn't have anyone on that pitch that was winning an individual battle. Everyone was losing headers, and like, to be honest, I think Fred and McTominay would have been far better in that team tonight than anyone else who started, because at least they'd have competed physically for the ball, and that is the bare minimum. That United made it easy for all of them. Casemiro, Eriksen, Sabitzer, they're playing like they're just made of bruises, and that they don't want to touch anyone, like, you know, that they carry an aggressive athlete's foot infection they don't want to catch. It's an absolutely pathetic performance from them.
It was William Defoe played that role in Platoon, as Jeff was saying. Jeff's saying here as well, stat of the day, when Casemiro, Eriksen and Bruno played together, we've never lost. Richard's saying here, we need to clear out, get rid of Mourinho's signings, Solskjaer's signings, De Gea, and build a new team. That will happen in the summer. Get the first aid gone. That's Martial and Phil Jones. Martial came off after 53 minutes of leg horse, Stuart. Another injury. I mean, was he making a difference today? Do you think Martial could have made a difference if he was fit?
No. That's the answer to that, no. Again, Richard just commented about Martial. It's time to go now. I mean, we've been it's been years, and it's constant injuries, constant. He's not a number 9. Oh, if he's fit, he'll get you 20 goals a season. He's never going to be fit. So it's time to go. There's a big clear out in the summer. It's going to be interesting.
You've heard a lot of whine and dine. When you give that voice, yeah, but he's fit. I've heard it every time as well. People, as fan base, I mean, we're doing shows here. Obviously, us three are always on shows, and we hear a lot of stuff, don't we? We really, at crunch time, it doesn't seem to stand up, and now we can be critical and say, look, this isn't good enough. Let's talk about the final goal, the nail in the coffin. I mean, God, don't tell me you're in the toilet for that one. Come on,
no, I wasn't.
Stuart, what's going on, man? Jesus Christ.
I don't know. You're Monday. I don't know. I don't know. I was sort of like turning the volume down by then.
Yeah.
The missus was saying, "Oh, are you losing?" Shaking my head, and that's when the button. As soon as that goal went in on Monday, I turned it off.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah.
It's better than smashing your TV up. Bath time. What happened there? They played a long ball over the top again, and De Gea did come off his line, eh?
Yeah, it's difficult to sort of like intellectualize, if you want, that goal from what we're seeing, because like, I mean, I've seen that in the Sunday leagues this season from like fat butchers and stuff like that. Like, there's a guy called Two Breakfasts who plays for another team, and he's called Two Breakfasts because that's what he has. He has 2 breakfasts, and he does stuff like that. But it's all right. To sort of make a sensible point about it, we hear a lot about how Maguire can't play in a high line. When you play in a high line, you control the space in front of you. Like, I don't want to go through all the things about arrest defence, and stuff like that, because no one wants to hear it. But when you play in the centre of a high line, your job is to control the space in front of you, and the goalkeeper is primarily concerned with the space behind. Tonight should really be like the nail in the coffin about we play the 3rd deepest line in the league because of De Gea. And like I sort of am beginning to get very annoyed with Erik ten Hag, because all these away performances, like the one thing that is consistent is he's asking players to play in a way that they can't. And maybe that gets you the top job. I don't know. But it also, in any other walk of life, gets you fired if you're doing stuff like that. And I think that after the game against Brighton, I think it's time to drop De Gea. Because
100%.
he can't do what we're asking him to do. And as much as I dislike De Gea, I know everyone else loves him as a great servant. I've always felt that he's a bit of a coward and he hangs his teammates out to dry a lot. Every team is getting success against us by targeting him now. They're targeting him on corners. They're using out-in presses. We can't have our fullbacks wide because he's not able to hit those balls. And now, like, without the recovery pace of Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Varane, now that we're getting like balls over the top, and as a professional footballer, he can't even make contact with his foot on the ball. How do you train for that? A player that isn't coordinated to hit the ball. So but I do feel slightly sorry for him because he's been asked to do something that he can't do. And
do you know what, half time? I'd actually start Butland Sunday. But Butland's
such a turnaround, Stuart.
He's a hot. No, that's enough. Enough was enough tonight. That's like you said. It's the nail in the coffin. No, he's not going to start Butland Sunday. He's not going to start Tom Heaton. Of course, De Gea starts Sunday. But I'd say, Jack, get fit, get warmed up, get ready. You're playing at Wembley, but it's not going to happen, is it?
Guys, we're going to round this up now because I'm getting depressed just talking about it. Richard's saying here, I blame Brush. We know Brush. He comes on the show. He said on here because for the 3rd goal, because he said De Gea can play sweeper. This is from Brush, our very own Brush. He said De Gea can play that sweeper keeper role, and clearly not today. Jeff saying here it was really bad all round. Surprise he's not running out the kids like he did at Ajax. Jeff again saying this game called for a low block and counter attack. Richard saying here, get the Bristol lad in. That's Butland he's talking about. He's a good goalkeeper, needs a game on the bench, might give De Gea a kick out the backside. Let's do player ratings. We start to De Gea because we're going to get to Sancho, focus on that. Defense as a unit, I think, was really poor, under 5, not even average. Obviously, we saw calamity goals. Goal from a corner, which should have been defended correctly. That's everybody, not just it's a whole. You're drilled to do set pieces like that. De Gea, his distribution is kicking not good enough. So I can't score the whole defense or individually more than a 3 or 4. It's really poor from my end. Bath time defense, please, including the
2.
goalie.
I think a 2 because the first goal, as I said earlier, is not just on Maguire and De Gea. It's on all of that defensive unit not helping each other. Poor at every aspect of the game tonight. Yeah. I mean, just insert loads of adjectives and then give them a 2.
All right, so Stuart, defense. I mean, can we go higher than a 5? Bruce Forsyth, higher than a 4? I mean, where we go?
Can we go lower than a
We certainly can. Yeah, go on.
I think even what Bath time said 2 is generous, but there you go. I don't think it's even worth rating anybody tonight, to be honest. That's how poor everyone was.
One thing I do rate is my brethren, Darren Tubbs. Thanks for joining us. I know you come to give us help. He said, got a few things to think about. Think about it. Yeah, I made a joke the other day, special ed, think about it. Wonderful tune. Darren, enough respect to you, man. Liverpool fan, but respectful as well. Thanks for coming on. And Richard saying here, 3 out of 10 tonight for all the ratings for the team. Midfield, I mean, look, Ericsson, they were like really slow. Is it suffocating? Do you have to acclimatize to go out to places like Seville where it's hot as you said, it's the hottest region in Europe, maybe? And do you think they were suffocated? Do you think they were struggling for breath out there? It doesn't make a difference. That's how it looked to me anyway. Midfield, really poor, all 3 of them. They don't get them higher than a 3 for me. And I'm just going to round it up and just say the guys up front as well. Sancho, I'm going to focus on him because I want that to be the focus as well. I felt he's just on the cusp of doing something good. I just think if he does something good and creates a goal or does something like scores a wonder goal or does, he's just on the cusp of that. And I think once he does that, maybe the confidence will flow again. Is he a confidence player? Because he's got the talent. But today I was more frustrated with him again, saying, we need you, bro. We need you. Do a little something. But a couple of times he's holding it up and playing the safe ball when really I think he can drive a little bit. Because when he's driving people, he can cut away from defenders quite easily. And I'm comparing, seeing him and Anthony. Anthony, he might be a wild. I think he's a nutter, Anthony. To be honest, seeing the guys, he's a nutter. As in, he's on it. Sancho, if he had a bit of that in him, maybe his confidence will come back. I want to see a bit more from Sancho. So yeah, rest of the guys, 2s and 3s all round. Bath time and Stuart, just round it up because we're going to wrap this up.
Midfield, I'll give him 2. Attack, I actually slightly disagree with you here on stuff because the only players, and they didn't do it particularly well, but they were trying to. The only players that were looking after the ball were Martial and Sancho. Our only decent moments in the game came from those 2 combining and then getting like Wan-Bissaka 3. Yeah. But the thing that I'd like to ask him on day is, I know you like Sancho, and like all of us, you want to see him do well, but what more does he have to do to show you that it's not going to work out at United for him? Like, did you see the tracking back tonight?
Yeah, I did. When the guy just completely, they started, it was like a run. They ran him. He had 20 yards in him after 100 yards.
What does he have to do, bruv?
I think it was right. It's a mental thing, spiritual thing. That's why he was sent away. Something needs to click for him to make this happen. To make everything improve. He's got the talent, he's got the ability. Maybe today you need to be on your face and realize actually the focus is going to be on you now. Maybe the fans will get on your case. Maybe that's what he needs to realize. Because I think he's cruising. He's been cruising as a teenager all the way. He's always been the wonder kid. He's been cruising for Dortmund, going into a good system and doing really well. And now when it shows you need to show some character, something's lacking. And I think you need to come out of cruise control and go back to the ghetto and work hard for to get where you are. And when I say ghetto, I mean with the mindset. Anthony's ghetto. You can tell that he's from the street.
Anthony plays like a crack addict.
Yeah,
GTA.
Yeah, he's literally like on crack. And Sancho, he plays like he's in his slippers, listening to classical music.
There's a quote from Marvin Hagler, and this is what I relate to Sancho. He says, "It's hard to get out of bed when you wear silk pajamas." That's how I think about Sancho right now. Stuart, do you want to do the midfield and strikers as well?
I'll just quickly talk about Sancho.
As well.
Going back earlier, what Bartime said about the shirt being too heavy for a lot of players, and I think that is happening with Jadon Sancho. I mean, I like Jadon Sancho. Everyone says give him time. How much more time do you give him? This is Man United. You know what I mean? This is not Aston Villa, Everton. This is one of the greatest prospects when we signed him, and he's just not showing it. He came back from the Leeds game after that injury. He scored a goal, and you think, oh, that's it. He's going to kick on. It's not happening. It's just not happening. So I know maybe send him out on loan. I don't want to get rid of him. But how many more chances can this player have? Like I said, this is Man United. We're still one of the greatest clubs in the world. One of the biggest clubs in the world. Do you send him out on loan? Do you bring Diallo back? I don't know what the answer is at the moment.
It'd be interesting to see how this develops, don't we think? But sometimes when you're on the face, this is when people make changes and you see the true character of people. So, really disappointing night tonight. We're going to round it up. There's no more comments really to come in. I mean, we want to say hi to DM Vlogs. He's saying, hey, guys. Richard's asked a question about Greenwood. We don't like to talk about him too much, but he was a talented player. And if he didn't have this instant, I think he would have developed by now and been a top player for us. So that's a big loss.
I absolutely do not want Greenwood back at this football club.
Nor do I. But as a player, regardless of what's happened, I think he was on the cusp of greatness. He was getting better as the season went on. So that's a miss. And to replace someone like that, it's difficult. So we don't like to talk about him on the show. Sancho has never been right since the last injury at Dortmund, says Jeff. And DM Vlog saying De Gea should be kept for another season just to be on the bench as a number 2 because we need a new number 1 goalkeeper. He's saying as well as Maguire needs to be sent to league football. I'd take Maguire, definitely. Bath time. We're signing out now. So last word before I come to Stuart. No. What would you say to fans out there? Should they be discouraged now and disheartened about? And what about Brighton this weekend?
I think that Brighton are an extremely good football team that dominate the ball and they play in a way that I think was quite similar to how Solskjaer wanted his United team to work. As probably one of the best transitioning teams in the Premier League, we've probably got a better shot against them than most people think. In terms of trying to sort of cheer people up, I suppose, is that we're in a process, right? And when you switch to a completely new style of play, unfortunately, you're going to have nights like this where there's defensive and midfield miscommunications. It's embarrassing and it's happening too often. And I mean, if you're watching after the show, get in the comments with how many kilometers you think that those gits should be made to run tomorrow. Because I'm going to do 20 before the end of the month. And I want every single one of them to be able to do my time.
Stuart, any sort of rousing words for the semi-final? You're going to the semi-final, aren't you, Stuart?
Unfortunately, I'm dreading it. It's going to be a tough game Sunday. Very, very tough game. But be positive. Keep their heads held high. We go again Sunday. Stop them blue bastards from winning the treble anyway.
Yeah, most certainly. Well, that was tough to get through, guys. I appreciate you coming on. Thanks to everyone in the comments as well. We'll be back, obviously, tomorrow, 8:30, and we'll be talking about Brighton again. We move on, game after game, isn't it? And I really hope you guys heal up, get themselves back into the UK, and get ready for this big game on a vast Wembley pitch. And Stuart, I hope to see you on Sunday. I'll be around. You know I'm local.
Mate, yeah.
That is so menacing, you mad monk.
You can have my ticket Monday if you want.
Hey?
You can have my ticket if you want it.
No, thank you. No, thank you. You enjoy it. I'm saying we're going to link up after the game.
Definitely, 100%.
Yeah. All right. God bless, man. Nice one. Bath time, as always, brilliant contribution. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much, Stuart. Once again, brilliant contribution for you as well. At a tough time to really sort of comment on the game, but you guys have been great. And thanks to everyone in the comments. We're signing out. See you tomorrow at 8:30. Bye bye.